Rebecca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these two lovely ornaments that are the Nightmare Before Christmas themed. I got the inspiration from Lizzie on Clay Disarray. She's got two tutorials on her channel. Well, it's one tutorial, she does both of them on it, and she does Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie, and I wanted to add on to that collection of ornaments because I've been doing a lot of following a lot of her tutorials, and I thought I just wanted to go on and make a couple of the other characters. So check out her channel and you can see how to make those other ones. These are just what I've done. I've gone on to make Zero the dog. Whoop. Drop it and go and drop Sally, and that's Sally as well. So if you're interested in making these, then keep watching. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do them. So to make the base of our ornaments, we're just going to use some cookie cutters. You know, you can get these in all different shapes. My other video that I did was circles, I believe, but these ones I got from the pound shop, but they've just got varying sizes in this set, and there's just your plain square side, and then you've got one with the little bumpy edges, so you can pick and choose which ones you want to do. So I've got some black and some silver. Staying with the sort of theme that Lizzie on Disarray, is it Disarray Clay? Clay Disarray, that way. What she's doing, because her ornaments were fantastic what she's done, and I just wanted to go on and make more characters from it, because there's so many characters within that film, and I didn't realise how popular it actually was until I posted a few of my of the other ornaments that I've done of hers, and the amount of people that said that they love The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I thought there might be something people might want to know how to make different characters. So the biggest one, I'm going to do the outside of the ornament in silver, and then the centre is going to be in the black. Now I'm showing you how to make two of them. So I rolled out enough clay to cut out two, but I'm going to have the outside edge as the frilly one, and then I'm just going to press down into it. Now with these, they can be quite hard for pressing down with, so if you've got an acrylic block, you can just use that and push that down, then that way you're not going to be hurting your hands pressing down into it. It's stuck. Get another one. Now I've got to say, this clay's rolled out on the number 2 on my pasta machine. Reason I'm doing it not the thickest is because I'm going to be putting a backing onto them, just to cover up workings behind and things like that, just to neaten it up. Now I'm just going to take the excess away. Now don't worry if you get any of these little bits that don't come off to start with, we can neaten them up, but this is just like the start of it. Where's my long blade? Right. So we're going to be cutting out centre part of this, which we're going to put the black in. So depending on how big of a border you want will depend on how many sizes you go down of your cutters. So obviously you don't want the same cutter as that one, because you're not going to get any good border. Now I'm wanting to have a straight edge to it. Now looking at that on top of my silver clay, I'm not going to get a big frame from that one, so I'll try the next one, and that'll be just perfect for what I want. So if you've just got one of these sets, just play around with them until you see, like the size that you wanted to use, basically. My words don't want to come out today. So then what we're going to do, I'm just going to take our other cutter and try and get it so that it's even going around. Now, sorry if you end up seeing my head doing this, I like to try to make sure that I've got it the same all the way around, and trying to do it in the camera can get a little bit awkward. So yeah, I think I've got it just about right now. And then if you get any bits that don't go fully through, which I think I managed to get it all the way on, you can just take a craft knife or your blade and just go around it. That's why the straight edges are really good. So I've took that frame away, same with the other one. I'm just getting them both ready at the same time simply because to save time, but I can jabber away at you while I'm doing it. So if you don't want to listen to me while I'm doing this bit, fast forward. Yeah, so I've just got them ready now, and as you can see I've got the black ready, but then I've still got all this that I can make some more ornaments out of. But you've got to roll out a fair bit of it for you to be able to make your frames, because you're only cutting this piece from it, but you're filling it in with another, so you really are going to be using more of the centre clay than you are the outside one. So now we take our cutter that we've just cut our squares out of the other ones, and we just want 2 of these. And again, these are just, all of them are going to be rolled out on the number 2. Apart from when I do the back, I think I do that one a little bit thinner if I remember right when I did the other ones. Okay. Right. So I'm going to take, well, I'm not going to make you watch me get them both done, but so I'm just going to pop that onto my acrylic block. Just got a smudge in there somehow. Don't worry about it if there is anything like that, you can easily smooth it out. It's a wonder of polymer clay. Right, then we just get our frame. And we'll just push it in around the edges. Now with us like pulling it up off our work mat or whatever, we can make it a little bit distorted, but again, polymer clay is that good to work with. You can push it back into the shape where you want it. Now we've just got to make sure that these 2 pieces fuse together, so just taking my rolling pin and I'm gently rolling it out, and then I'm going to go in both directions, just simply because if it stretches one way, you want to, if you're doing squares, you want to make sure that it's the same all the way around. Plus you can also go this way, and then make sure that you've gone right into the corners. So once I've done, I'll just lift it up and then I can show you. So it looks like it's one piece of clay, and then on the back it's the same, but when I'm going to be doing other things to it, I'm going to want to cover the back of this, so I'm going to be covering it with all silver. So got that done. Okay. And then any of these fluffy bits that go around the edges, just zoom in just a little bit now, and you can just take a bolt or just something that's rounded and just go around and do this, and you can just smooth it out. Because these are not the best cutters, I think I got these from the pound shop if I remember right, they've not got the most consistent cut. A lot of the 3D printed cutters are a lot better than what you get in a pound shop, but they're usable, and this is what I wanted to show you, because you don't always have to have the expensive version of things to be able to create. So you go around and you just carry on until you're happy with the outside of it. You can also use your finger as well, because the heat from your finger will smooth it back down. It's just with it having that bumpy edge, it's nice, you can't get your fingers into the dip parts of it. And you could go around it with your craft knife and do it, but I just prefer doing it this way. Plus I've not got the steadiest of hands, so if I went in with my craft knife I'd probably end up cutting part of the ornament off. So it's probably just a bit easier for me to do. Right, there we go. So I'll do the other one off camera because you don't need to see me doing that again. And then when I'm doing these, I like to just stick my base back onto the acrylic block, simply so I can pick it up, 1, show you, and 2, I can put in the finer details. Now I'm going to be doing them this way rather than it hanging straight down that way, so I'm going to put the whole of my ornament up here, and I think we'll go with let's do 0 first. So Right, because Zero's a ghost dog, we need his body to sort of like be translucent or glowing, something like that. So the one that I did here, I used just white translucent, and it went a little bit yellow, but then I remembered I got some glow in the dark clay as well. So I'm going to try doing Zero with glow in the dark and see what it comes out like. And then if I don't like how that one's come out, I might just add a little bit of white to it, and it might just perk up the colour of the translucent, you know, and get it looking more like how I want it. So when I did Zero, it just took a little bit of figuring out really. I think one of the main things I used were my micro cutters, just for cutting out the shape of the head. Now if you've got any of these, they're fantastic for doing different shapes. I've got another drawer there. But the head of Zero is sort of a bit like a circle with some spikes coming off the end. So if you want to get something, if you've got a cutter to do it, so you could really use a what's this called, a leaf shape to do the mouthpieces, and then you can use a circle for the head. That's it. Oh, there we go. I think it was that one that I used. Oh, a bit too big. Right, so I've rolled this through my thickest setting anyway, and I've just got my circle punch, and then we'll see whether if we can flatten this out so it's the right size. No, that's not it. It's been a while since I've done these ones, so I'm trying to remember which ones I used. So let's go with the bigger circle, because I want it to be 3D but not too 3D, because if it is, then it's going to stick out too much and it might end up getting bits knocked off. So I've just made a ball and I'm just turning it around and squishing it in my fingers. So I think I've got, yeah, that's right with that one. Now because I've been doing black conditioning, I've got little bits on my hand and things, but we can get that off with some acetone or a baby wipe or something. So pick your side which you're going to have at the top of your hanging, and then we're going to put his head right about here. Okay, and then we want to take a leaf cutter if that's what you're going to use, or you could use a craft knife to cut it out. And then I'm just going to cut straight down the middle. So I've got two longer pieces. Now we're not going to need the full amount of this, but we just want to sort of try and navigate where we want it. So I'm just lining it up there, and then I'm going to just take my blade, cut that bit off, and I'm going to do the same for the bottom of his mouth. Now his mouth is quite long, and I've looked at the pictures on the DVD. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a blending tool or a ball tool, just something, just to blend this into the head. And this will, one, it'll fuse it to the base, and two, it'll make it look like it's one piece. And this is a problem with really pale clays, they pick up everything, and it's probably my fault. I should have really wiped my hands with touching the black. Come on now, there we go. You can just take this, or you can get a cotton swab or cotton bud, whatever they're called, and just dip it in some acetone, and that will get it off as well. But this is what I've just got handy. So now it's taking your time just to get it looking in the shape that you want. Okay, his mouth, it's got some black shading in it, so it's looking like his skeleton see-through pretty much. I think that's what it's supposed to do. I'll zoom in a bit more and then there we go. Looks a bit like a bunny at the moment that way. Right, so then I'm just going to take a little bit of my black and I'm going to roll it through my pasta machine on a much thinner setting. I think this is probably about a number 5, something like that. Not going to need much anyway. And then just want to get sort of a bit like a triangle sort of shape, I'd say it was. In fact, do it that way. Then I know, this way I know that it's got to be smaller than that one. And it's too long that way, so we need to just cut a little bit off. Right. So there we got it the right size. There we go. And then I'm going to push it down with my blending tool so that it looks like it's totally different. You know, like a skeleton, because you want it to have some like recesses in it. So go. So it's got a, I don't think you can really tell on there, but it's got a bit of dimension to it, so it's making him look a bit more 3D. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, it's just me being picky. But there we go. So next bit we'll do is ears. Can't get my words out again. So we'll just take a bit of our translucent, not translucent, sorry, glow in the dark this time. And just going to roll out a couple of, well, roll out a snake and then cut it off. Because this is all it were when we're doing these, it was sort of like trying to figure out, you know, how to do each part of him. And I just kept referencing back to the DVD case, so if there's any of the other ones that you want to do, that's all that I did. This is just me showing you how I processed it. So I've made my snake going along. I'm just flattening it down. I want it quite long. Going out because it's got 2 ears. Now I want it to look like that they're flowing in the wind. So yeah, they're a bit too long still. So I want to give it a sort of a rippled effect. So I'm just bumping it up just a little bit. That's still a bit too long. Now depending on what size cutter you're using, will be how big you're making your individual ornament. Okay, and then just blend it in like we did with the mouth. So his ears are done, and then we're just going on to his body. Now what I did with this was I wanted to create a triangular shape, because that's basically what his body looks like. And if you remember right, I took one of my square cutters and just cut out one, and then went this way. I sort of just winged it a little bit. I pinched and squeezed, and so he's got quite a thin neck on his body, but it goes out. It's sort of like it's a bended bent triangle. It's sort of, in a way, it's the only way I can really describe it. But you want to be thinning it out a little bit towards the edges, because again, because he's translucent, he's a ghost, you want it to be quite translucent looking. And I just sort of just bumped it up just a little bit, again just to give it some dimension. Now that is way too big for that one, which I probably should have checked beforehand, but never mind. Just want you to see it. This is actually how I do it. Put me on speed if you don't want to listen to me japping, you just want to see me doing it. Okay. And pull it out as well. Okay. Nothing. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to put one in there, and then blend this one in again. Oh, his body's attached. And then the other thing I did was I took one of my needle tools. This one looks a bit like a hockey stick. Can't remember the name of it. And I just used it to drag down and create some ripples within his body. Can't got one of these again. Just see what you've got in your studio and your workspace, just make it work for you for what you have. You don't have to be going out and buying all the tools that I'm using. You can find different things to use. I actually took that bit on his ears as well. There we go. So we've got his body going, and now we just want a little eye. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of, and I'll have a bit of game in 2 eyes, didn't I? So tiny little ball, and I'll cut that in half. If you want to be precise, you can use a cutter, and then you know you're going to get them exactly the same. But yeah, I'm just doing it this way. So little balls. Just too big for liking actually. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my ball tool, and I'm just going to make some indentations where I want his eyes. And just pick those up. And then push them in with the tool. I'm going to work his neck in just a little bit more. I've just realised I've not put a little slither of black on his face to make it look like he's smiling. So I'm just taking some of that really thin black. I just cut a tiny little slither off it, if it will let me. Oh, there it is. To the other side. Right, so I'm just rolling a little snake of clay. Zero's body finished. So I'm going to show you how to do Sally's body, and then we can do. Right, so we're ready to move on to Sally, and we're just going to create the shape for her face first. And I've got, it's sort of just a, it's white with a very, very little bit of a pale blue tint to it, because if you look at a picture of it, she's sort of like got a blue haze to her. I think that's the right way to describe it anyway. So that's why I've just got this one. And then again, because I don't know what size you're going to be making your ornament, I can't tell you an exact size what to do. I'm just taking a cutter out my drawer and see if this is going to be big enough, and if not, I can always add to it. So like I said, depending on how big of a ornament you're making, so that's obviously not enough, so I'm going to go for another one. Just trial and error. Whenever you're making these things, you'll get more of a knowledge for what you want, but if you're doing more than one. So I think we've got the right amount now. So again, I'm just squashing it into a circle, and then I'm just going to just make it a little bit pointed going down to one side. So I'm wanting her head to be sort of like going in to that, sort of slanted, because this is where I'm going to be putting the hole for the hanger. Okay. Oop. Dropping it in. So I'm just going to have it off to the side, and I'm just going to press that down a little bit. And then, like I said, you can always clean up afterwards if you've got any marks on it, and just get it looking more like how you want it. If a normal baby white one, well, isn't strong enough because black's a pain to get off, so I'm just using a little bit of acetone. I actually need to fill my bottle up. Now it's got a few sort of black lines in, so I'm going to leave that because she's actually stitched together, so I don't mind that little bit on it with just the little bits of black where I didn't want them, that were getting on my nerves. Right, okay, and then we just want to put her neck on, so I'll move it down a little bit, because on the other one that I did, the neck was nearer the bottom half of it. So I've just got that leftover bit of the square that I've just used, and I'm just going to cut a strip of that off. Might be a little bit, because she's quite thin, so she's got a bit of a thin neck, but I'm going to put something down here because the neck looks a little bit too long, but I can always decorate with something. Yeah, I can always put a star or something down there when we're at the decorating stage. Right, and then the next bit is her nose. Now, she's got quite a pointed nose, and on the picture that was following, it sort of goes off to the side. So again, I'll just take this leftover bit. Get into a ball, and then I'm going to roll it out. Make a pointed shape. We're not going to need that much. So that's way too big, so too thick as well. So I've got it pointed, and just going to pop it in the middle. There we go. And now we're going to smooth it into her face. So you can either use one of the blending tools, you can use a wet wipe, just like we've done before. I'm just brushing it down here to start with, because the way that she looks on the picture, you know, like it sort of like goes out to the side like this. So, and then I want to get rid of these ridges that I've made. Just using my wet wipe, and that will smooth it out. I'm quite happy with that, with the it's gone. Right, so now I'm going to put the wells in for what I'm going to put her eyes in. So I just want to take a large ball tool that I've got, and I'm just going to make 2 little indents, just so the bottom of the eyes will have somewhere to rest where they're going to go in. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, before I put the eyes on, I'm going to put some shading onto her face, because she's got a little bit of a makeup look on the picture that I was following. I'm just dabbing off any moisture so that the pastels will stick. Right, so what I'm using is, is just some chalk pastels. If you've not got any of these, you could use eyeshadows. If you've got an old eyeshadow palette that you don't want to use, or you can use mica powders, regular chalks, kids chalks, that sort of thing. Just use whatever you've got really. And then you just want a fine brush, and I've just scraped, where's my needle tool gone? The side of the colour that I'm wanting with my needle tool, just to let some of the powder come off. And I'm just dabbing it into my brush in it, and then I'm going to go just around the bottom of the eye sockets. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to get any of the blue on the actual eyeball as such. So I'm going around it that way. There we go. And then I did some on her cheeks as well on the other one. So just lightly. And I think that was right. I think I did a little bit underneath the nose. It's just to give it a bit of shading to it, and then just blow any excess off. And that's all I'm going to do with that one. So put that one out of the way. So now we can do our eyes. So I'm just going back for some plain white. And just, if you've got any colours on the end of it, I just recommend you give it a wipe in between, especially when you're using white, because as you can see it's picked things off here that I don't even know where they come from. So I'm just going to take 2 of these. This is just a circle punch cutter that I've got, one of the plunger ones. It's the smallest in the set. And I'm just going to roll this into a ball. Now on the image that I was working from, her eyes were sort of a bit of a D shape, so like flattened on one side but then curved at the bottom. So I'm just moulding it with my fingers and pushing it up. So we've got it a bit like that. And then I can push them down into those wells that we made. Make our D shape again. I dropped it now. That way around. And again, just whatever tool you're using, you can just get it going back into the shape that you want if it's got a bit squished as you've put it down. Okay? Right, and then we'll give it some eyes. Now what I've done is I've just conditioned some black clay, and it needs to be really, really, really soft, because I've used my extruder. I've just used the tiniest hole on that one just to create this. You can roll it out by fingers, but it was just a bit quicker for me to do it this way. Now I'm going to be doing the pupils on her eyes first, so she can actually see me while I'm working on her. And then I'm just going to take off 2 little bits just to do the pupils. Now, this is when you'll find out whether if they're too big or too small, so let's pick it up. I think, yeah, it's a bit too small, so I'll put those 2 together. And one's, oh no, it's that tiny, it's falling everywhere. Let's make another one. Try number 2. In fact, you can also just make a little indent where you want them to go, and she's looking off to the left on the image that I was working from. Oh, that's much better. There we go. There, much better. Hello Sally, you're alright. I talk to my work when I'm doing it. I know that's probably really sad, but hey ho, that's me. I have to keep myself sane somehow. Right, what should we do next? We'll do the lips on her next, so then at least she can talk to me as well. So I'm just going to take some red clay. This is from the budget clay that I've done a review on before. Now it's just a case of making a really sort of tiny leaf shape and then changing it a little bit. Now this is probably going to be way too much, even though it's quite a small circle that I've cut out, but as you can see that's too much clay for that, so cut that in half. Excuse my nails, have gone black from the clay. Right, so I think that'll be, yeah, that's more like it. So I'm just going to flatten it down just a little, and I'm going to pinch either side. That's when I've done dropping it. Okay, so I'll put it into that bit of a leaf shape. I'm going to pop it there, press it down. Now, as you'll know, at the top of the lips we've got sort of like a little bow shape at the top, so I'm just going to use my needle tool just to press it down a bit. And then I'm just going to draw a line going across, finish it off. Okay, so we've got a little mouth there. There, you can see her a little bit better now. Right, so and then the next bit we'll just be doing the stitching on her face. So again, I'm just taking some more of this black clay that I've rolled out. We'll do her eyebrows first actually, because well, her eyelashes should I say, not eyebrows, eyelashes. So I'll just take a little bit off. And I'll lay it across top of her eyes. Don't worry, I'm not giving her a monobrow. Right, so and chop in there. There we go. And then on her eyelashes, on each side there's like 3 sets of 2 little prongs, or I don't know what else to call it, sort of like, but they're in a bit like a V. So I'm just going to take my blade, and the way that I like to do this is if you can manage to keep your first cut on your blade like this, you can use that to measure out so you've got the same length on the other ones. So for each side you're going to need 6 pieces. So she's got her eyelashes now. See a little bit better, sorry my light had moved, not realised. Okay, right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the stitching on her face, so I'm not going to talk through it, I'll speed it up and put some music on, because you don't need me to explain it, you'll be able to figure it out from what I'm showing. There we go, just got all her stitching on her face now. And then the last bit to do on her is her hair. So it's sort of like a orangey sort of colour, I'd say. So this is just what I've pulled out from my bits that I've got left over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take it down to my second thickest setting just for this one. So I'm going to take my straight line cutter, and this is the 5mm one. I've got these in my Etsy shop. They come in a set of 3, so I'll put the link in the description box so you can go and have a look if you're wanting to get some. You can do it without it, it's just that it's quicker than doing it this way, and you know you're going to get all the same even marks going all along. Now I've not got the strongest of hands, and plus if I stand up to try and put more pressure on it, I'm going to headbutt the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm just using them as a marker on this one. Now I'm not going to need all of this clay, but I want to make sure that I've got enough to do a hair, and then I'm just going along the lines that I've just got some nice strips there. Now her hair is rather straight on the pictures that I was using, and it sort of just hangs down from both sides of her head. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hang down this way. And then it's rather long as well, so I'm going to have that come right down to the bottom, and then I'm just going to layer it up but just offset it just a little. So you can put more layers on if you wish. I'm just going to do those 2 for now. Might change my mind afterwards, but we'll see. And then I'm just going to take my needle tool. In fact, we'll push this down in the centre first, because her hair goes quite down to her head on the image. Okay, and I'm just going to take my needle tool and just drag it down just to make some more lines. So this is what you could actually use your line marker to do this. So like the smaller one that I've got, which is, I think is 3mm, that one. You could use that just to make your lines in, like the way that I did just to cut mine. So the next part is we just need to decorate our ornament. So I'm going to go get cleared up a bit because it's a bit of a mess outside of the screen area, and I'll be back in just a second. Right, the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is just make some tiny candy canes. I've rolled out some silver, purple and white just into a little log, and I'm just going to put them together. I'm going to roll them now just so they sit together. Now as I'm making it thinner, I'm going to twist, but I'm also just going to keep doing this just to lengthen it out. Now depending on how many of these you will want to make and how much clay you start out with. Now because I'm going to be making quite a few of these, I know where I need a fair bit, so I'm just going to roll it out. Let's take a chunk off, it'll be a bit quicker. I can just do the rest later anyway. So as you can see, it's sort of like, oh, gone to that there, you can't see. That better. So just keep on rolling. I'm sure there's a song that's got that line in. And then just keep twisting it until you're happy with how much twist is actually. So just out of that little bit of clay that I started out with, I've still got that to work with. But I've got this nice long piece. And what I've done previously is I've not actually got any silver down in this part here, so let's chop that off. Okay. And when I've done them before, I've just cut them to sections of 1 inch. And I've just pinched the end, just round it off, and then we curl it round like this. Now if you're doing loads, you can pre-bake these and then they're ready for going onto your ornaments. I'm just going to cut out a few just for these ones that I'm doing, so you don't want to be watching me do this. Our zero back. Our Sally. Zero over just a tad. No, better. And then I've just been popping them one at either side. Have them facing in opposite directions. Now if they're already baked, you can put a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom side of them just to make sure that they've got something to stick to. Because baked clay and raw clay, they're not automatically sticky, so if you just put a little bit of liquid clay on them, that'll just give it a bit of extra adhesion really. And then this side. Up here. Right, so they're my little candy canes. Now the other things that I've been doing, I've just been punching out some tiny stars, just using my micro cutters, and these were on the thickest setting in my pasta machine. And I've also made these tiny little balls of white clay. It's literally just, I've made a log and chopped tiny little bits off and rolled them into a ball, so you didn't really need to see me doing that. So again, we're just decorating, so it's totally up to you how far you go with these or how many you put on, whether if you put them on at all, it's totally up to you. I just like the look of them. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hole in at the top, and then I know where not to put any stars or anything. So I'm just using my ball tool. Just sure it's pressed down, and just go round in a circle until you've got the hole as big as you want it. Then press it back flat so it bakes flat. There we go. So I'm not going to make you watch me do it in real time, so again I'm just going to fast forward through it, put some music on so you can watch me doing it, and I'll be back in just a second. There we go. So I've got them all decorated now. So they've got the little snowflakes going on and the stars and the candy canes. So I'll go and bake these and then I'll show you how to bake. Right, so they're all baked and they're ready to bake, and I've remembered while they were in the oven I didn't put him a little nose on, so I'm going to bake him and then we can put him his nose on first. So what I've done is I've just rolled out my silver clay on a number, it was either 3 or 4, it doesn't need to be very thick at all really. You just want to take your cutter that you've used for your largest size and cut it out. I think my acrylic block has decided to work. Oh, it's nice there. There we go. And then I'm just going to use some homemade polyclay. It's just basically regular clay mixed with liquid clay of the same colour, so I just meant some silver for when I'm doing these sorts of projects. And it's such like it's a thicker paste, so it's still running like liquid clay, but it's a lot thicker, if that makes sense. You don't have to use this, you can just use regular liquid clay if you don't want to make any of this. I've got it, so I'm using it. It's just got a bit of a stronger grab on it, and when you're trying to put backing onto it, it gives you that added insurance that it's going to stay there and you can manipulate it to the other side, because it's got that stronger bond than just regular liquid. So, nice covering. And then we're just going to pop it on. And then, because we've done some work on the other side, it's just stretched it out just a little. So you can just tease it out just so that it's the same. Okay. So like I was saying, with the polyclay, it's just got that bit of a stronger grab. So when you're doing this, it keeps it in place just a little bit better. And then on these corners, I've just been pressing them down at the sides just so it goes on to the other. And then we just want to go through and make a mark where our hole was. And then I'm going to take the ball tool that I used to make the hole in the first place and just push it down so it gives a burnished edge to the hole. Okay. And then I've been putting my signature mark on the back of it. My husband made me a tiny little stamp which has got my logo on. I'm trying to think, one didn't work very well, so it's this one. I need to throw the other one away. And it's basically just a thing to just say that this is my work that I'm selling. Just got an air bubble in there. If you get one of these little air bubbles, just tease it to the edge and it'll just come out. You don't want to have any air bubbles in there and crack while you're baking. So I'm just taking my little stamp. Make sure I'm getting it round the right way. I'm just pressing it in. That's just my little signature stamp. And then for his nose we just want a tiny little pumpkin. And on the other ones that I did, I just used some glow in the dark orange clay. So we're only going to need a little bit. It's like it's a teeny tiny little nose that he's got. So again, just go on what size your ornament is. Now because we've baked this side of it, I'm going to have to put some liquid clown. So this is just the translucent stuff. This is the female gel. So putting a tiny little blob there. There we go. And push it down. And it does have some features on the actual film, so let's get some of that tiny black left that I think we've got left over from it. I'm just going to give him a couple of eyes. You don't have to do this bit if you don't want, but I want to make sure he's got his face. There we go. So that's 0 all done. So now I'm going to just go back Sally, bake them again, and then we'll all be finished and I'll be back. Right, so they're all finished and baked now, so I'm really happy with how they've turned out. And as you can probably tell with 0, his body has gone a little darker than what the other one is, but this is supposed to be the glow in the dark clay, so I haven't tested it in the glow in the dark yet, but I'm hoping that it does glow in the dark. But depending on what look you want to have on your ornament as to whether, you know, what you want it more that transparent during the day, and then or whether if you want it to glow up at night time on its own, that's totally up to you. So I hope you've enjoyed that. But like I said, these are inspired by Lizzie from Clay Disarray. And if you want to learn how to do the Jack Skellington and the Oogie Boogie ornament that she did, that I took the inspiration from, go out and check her channel. She's fantastic in what she does. She doesn't babble on half as much as what I do. So yeah, go and check out her YouTube channel, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. And if you've liked the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.